Hello guys, today I'm explaining Nicky's backstory. So we start off with this. He was built back in 1945 as the brand spanking new UT-14 class, the prototype. He was built strong, large, and best of all, just good looking. His designs came from James's designs after the LNYR had built James, but his lead wheel didn't fix the nosedive, so they sent the designs to America. And North Emblem Works on the North Emblem Railroad on the state of Weser, which is an island, they just built the engine, but modified the designs a lot to make it one pretty good design. So they immediately started trialing him. And once all his trials were successful, he became the railroad's poster boy. They built 20 other UT-14's, but Nicky was always the main one. He was just cemented as the poster boy. He got a lot of fame during his career until dieselization was coming to most of America's railways in the 50s. And then it happened. He was pulling the late night passenger train down the line in 1964. And then, as he was pulling it, there was a red signal up ahead to warn all trains that at the High Street Tunnel, which was a tunnel that went underneath a city, mostly under one of the bigger roads called High Street, the tunnel went underneath the city and then came out on the other end. At the entrance of the tunnel, there was a diesel shunter, specifically an SW7. It was struggling with its... it was a BL2. It was struggling with its load, and it was not getting anywhere. The load on its brakes, it was transporting the load to go... They were old cars and they were due for scrap. Their brakes were very stiff, so he was struggling. But they set the signals to red after Nicky had passed the last signal before the tunnel. By then it was too late. The switch was set to where if any train was there, they would go past the switcher anyway, but the switcher was directly on the switch. Mainly its cars. The switcher was inside the tunnel. Its cars were out. And then it all happened at once. As Nicky was rounding the bend, his large headlight was shining bright through the night. And as he was rounding the bend, heading past the walls before the tunnel, it happened. He, his driver, and fireman spotted something on the line. They thought it was on the other line, but it was moving at a very funny... But it wasn't moving at all. It was sitting there at a very funny angle. Then they realized that it was on their line. So they slammed on Nicky's brakes, and the entire train was screeching to a halt, but they were doing about 95 miles an hour, pulling the late night express. By then, there was no time to stop the inevitable. Nicky tried to stop, but it was too late. And at 10:55 p.m., Nicky was doing 80 miles an hour when he smashed into the freight cars of the shunter. The shunter was sent lurching into the tunnel, almost derailing, and all its cars were derailed. The ones that Nicky hit were completely crushed. Nicky was thrown onto his side before being piled over by the coaches still coming. Most of the coaches at the front were crushed or damaged beyond repair. The other coaches were damaged and fine, and the ones at the very back of the train were perfectly fine, having not even came off the rails. Though Nicky was very damaged, and out of the 1,000 people on the train, 655 died. And since dieselization was going along, the North Emblem thought of this as another excuse to scrap one of their engines. So, they began it. They sent him to Lathrop scrap yards on the North Emblem Railway, and he sat there for about a year. He was sitting there, cold, alone, and sad, scared as he watched the other engines be dismantled, knowing that he would be next. He was really devastated. But then, meanwhile on Sodor, Sir Topham Hatt was looking for another engine to handle goods. As with the increasing load coming in during those times, there would need to be another engine to haul all the goods. As Henry and Murdoch couldn't do it on their own, and the 8F that they had too couldn't help as much. So he went online and found, not online, he went onto the market and he found something. There was listing for an engine at somewhere called Lathrop's on the North Emblem Railroad in America. Topham Hatt read the status of the engine being in disrepair but very strong and stuff if it wasn't, and he swiftly bought the engine. He had it shipped over to Sodor. It was shipped over, it was placed down onto Sodor soil at Tidmouth, and Murdoch pulled the engine to the works. Nicky was glad to have a new home. They repaired him and trialed him. First with the goods work, and all that was done, he was trialed with all the other jobs until he got to the Express. When he was trialed with the Express, Gordon had to pull express goods trains. Though, on one of Nicky's Express trial runs, at Wellsworth, he was approaching the station bound for Barrow, and Gordon was there. He was doing about 99 miles an hour. Gordon was doing 99 too. Then Nicky sped up, and he began to go 100, 101, 102, until he got up to 104 and rocketed by Gordon. Gordon had slowed down due to his driver saying that they were going a bit too fast with the express goods. But Gordon was so shocked and furious that Nicky was literally beating him at his own record that he didn't even care, and he tried to speed up. Gordon only got to 99 miles an hour as Nicky thundered up the hill. Gordon watched as he disappeared into the distance and just gave up. Meanwhile, Nicky was laughing after seeing Gordon's reaction, and he said to his crew, "Did you see the look on his face?" "Oh, well, I sure did," said his driver. Anyway, after his trials were done, he became one of the newer goods engines, and he also pulls the express from time to time. He mainly likes having his friends and everything. Oh yeah, and about Thomas in my headcanon, when Thomas got possessed by a demon in 1980, in 19 69. Once they did a ritual and unpossessed Thomas, he just got powers that were more powerful than God. And he liked to troll the engines with them. He would teleport them and lobotomize them and everything, and they just hated it. And then Nicky somehow gained powers even more powerful than Thomas because when YouTube came out in 2017, he formed his channel. First titled X-Man the Train Man. Then it currently is Tram Studios, as of today. And if you're wondering who is telling all this, why, it's me, Nicky, of course. Heh. Anyway, oh, would you look at the time? I gotta go. Oh, no. Thomas, stop lobotomizing Percy. No, it's fun. I'm gonna beat your bunker. No! Ah! Well, now that that's taken care of, I gotta go pull a heavy goods with Murdoch. See you later.